Jones.
Shall we pray? Eternal God, our Father, we come on tonight, firstly to pause and just say thank you for allowing us to make it through this day. And Father, as we go forth within this meeting, we ask you to crown our counsel with wisdom and knowledge, that they will make the plans and projections that you have placed within their heart that's better best for this city. Thank you for all the directors, and thank you all for the employees, and we thank you for the citizens, and allow us to be who you call us to be as a city. Continue to strengthen us, continue to unite us. In your daughter's son, Jesus, we do pray. Amen and thank God.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have roll call.
Yes, sir. Mayor Richards,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Green,
Present.
Alderwoman Taylor,
Here.
Alderman Stamps,
Present.
Alderwoman McDade.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, public comments per Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551-007. The city council may not discuss or take action on any items not listed on the agenda. Each member of the public wishing to speak must sign in before the meeting, which is limited to 3 minutes. And I have Mr. Sam Polonzes. Good evening.
So I'm just here today to see if I get
You can speak into the mic, sir. Thank you.
a little nervous. I haven't
Sorry.
done this.
Oh, you're fine.
No.
You can push it up.
Okay. So I'm just here to see if I get a temporary food permit for the city of Brookshire. I do have a food trailer. I do have a spot where I can park it at. Is there any way y'all can help me with that, pretty much? Or how do I go about getting it?
Wanna speak on that?
Is it not on? Hello?
Cur-
Yeah, it's on.
Currently, the city do not have ordinances against food trucks right now, but we do have something on the agenda to address that. So if you would like to stay over for a while and listen to what we have, it might interest you.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem.
Thank you. Check that mic, see if it's working.
It was on.
Is it working? Okay. All right, thank you. All right, moving right along. Item number 6, consider and take action on consent agenda items listed under the consent agenda or considered routine or generally enacted in one motion. The exception to this rule occurs when a council member requests one or more items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion and action. It's A, minutes from the regular city council meeting June 5th, 2025.
I make a motion that we approve the regular city council meeting on June 5th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, item 7. Ordinance. Discussion and possible action approving ordinance number 25736-16 FY 24-25 budget. Do we have discussion on that?
No discussion. I make a motion that we approve ordinance number 25-736-16 FY 2024-2025 budget.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, we have a presentation for BuyBoard from Mr. Vance Hamilton.
Before Mr. Vance comes up, Mayor, Council, staff, and residents, we just wanted to thank you for allowing us to have this item on the agenda. Mr. Vance Hamilton will come speak on behalf of what the BuyBoard does and who they are, and what you have in front of you and what came in your packet is just a list of the contract descriptions and the contract names. So he'll go into more detail. Mr. Vance.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Hopefully you can hear me.
Hear you.
But I appreciate you allowing me to present this evening, and I appreciate your service and what you do for the public. I served some time as well, and so I understand a little bit. I appreciate that, and we appreciate that from BuyBoard. So it's a beautiful summer evening. I'm glad to be here. If I was thinking more, I come from not far away in Brenham, Texas, and I should have brought some Bluebell. I don't know, for everybody, why not? I don't know what I was thinking. Puts everybody in better mood, right? So, no, I'm glad to be here this evening. I'm gonna talk a little bit about BuyBoard, which is one of the leading purchasing cooperatives in the state of Texas. And it's all about trying to lessen the burden of government. So you as a council and staff are always trying to navigate the laws and compliance, and that's the most important, and trying to get pricing and quality vendors and all that. So I'm going to speak to that briefly this evening. And real quickly, I wanted to share something with you. From a school district down south, pretty good sized school district down south of Houston, their purchasing director retired, and they didn't have anybody, and their athletic director was retiring at the same time, and they asked him to stay on half-time to help with purchasing. He didn't know anything about that. And so he quickly learned about purchasing cooperatives like BuyBoard, and he was able to help the district out and purchase things that they needed because it saved him time and it saved him money, and he was able to fill his shoes and fill that need. And so that's kind of a neat little story, I think, you know, and so hopefully we can do the same thing. So, all right, well, I'm glad to be here in Brookshire, Texas. I think the feeling is this is like just on the verge of really kind of exploding and growing, you know, especially right outside of town with some of the suburbs and all around I'm familiar with. And so how you guys are navigating that in your growing community and all is important, you know, because you have bigger budgets, you have more needs, and so this is where we'll fit in. So, all right, so you might see on my shirt that the TASB. So BuyBoard is a service of the Texas Association of School Boards. And so we're a large nonprofit out of Austin that do a lot of different things. Within my world, one of those is BuyBoard. So we saw a need over 20 years ago working with school districts on how we can help them with their purchasing needs. And so there were some laws that were enacted in the state of Texas that allowed for purchasing cooperatives. I'll go over that in a second. So BuyBoard is one of our largest services that we do, and I consult with school district like yours right down the road at Royal ISD. And they're good folks, and they're good users of BuyBoard. And other cities, counties, colleges, you name it. So we work with all public entities, you would say. So hopefully at the end of the day, we'll save you some time and money, and that's kind of what it's about while still being in compliance. So real quickly, we also have a lot of other services. One of those is an energy cooperative. So in fact, Royal ISD is a member of our cooperative, and they actually have a long-term contract with our awarded vendor, NRG, for their electricity needs. And so we offer both electricity and fuel as well. So there's just other services that we work with. And then the last one, we work with a lot of schools and other entities with facilities, including a new service where actually we'll help them with their cell phone service. So we'll see growing communities that have less than desirable cell phone service. We have an awarded vendor that can help with that. So kind of cool. It'll give you an idea of a few other things that we do. So so why BuyBoard? So compliance is number one. So at the end of the day, we want to keep everybody employed, nobody going to jail or anything like that or getting in trouble. So there's laws. There's a lot of purchasing laws, and I don't even understand them all. But I know that purchasing through a cooperative satisfies those. And so that's very important. So the next one is competitive pricing, because we have a lot of vendors. We have several thousand vendors and more, and I'll speak to in a second, that, you know, people want to be on BuyBoard. Companies want to be on BuyBoard. They offer competitive pricing. We have a stipulation where our vendors have to offer at the minimum in lower pricing than any other cooperatives. And then also to save your staff administrative time. So sending out a bid, you know, takes a lot of time, and you have, you know, navigate all that. You have to put it together, advertise, mail it out, and all that. It takes months and months. And so with BuyBoard, you can simply find a vendor that you need, and you can issue a purchase order, and it's that simple. And then the last one is to earn a rebate. I'll talk about that in a second too. So a small percentage off of your purchases can come back to you like they do Royal ISD. And you get a little bit of money back. It's not huge, but it'll maybe buy the staff lunch or something. All right. So the rebate. So last year we gave over 13 million back. So basically we assess the vendors on each purchase order 2%. And that is a administrative fee that goes to pay for the operations of BuyBoard as well as back to our members for a rebate. So it's a little bit of incentive, a little bit of a reward. It's something that you guys deserve back too. And it's based on purchase volume. According to state law, we can't do that for vehicles, but everything else is eligible there. And so a little bit of the legal overview I spoke to earlier, that in Chapter 791, Texas Government Code and Local Cooperative Association, or Section 271, it simply allows this form of purchasing. So where you guys already have a contract with us, believe it or not, you have it's a long-standing contract. It's non-binding that is an interlocal, like you would with the county and other folks, and that allows you to purchase, from one of our vendors and call it a BuyBoard purchase and make it legal. So we got a lot of folks there, a lot of people with the counties and cities all across the state. So we competitively bid. So we have an entire staff in Austin that will put together the bids. They'll send out the bids and they'll evaluate those. And not everybody gets awarded. So a vendor that might put their bid in, they might not get awarded if they don't meet the qualifications of the price, of the service, of their business quality and reputation. We take that very seriously, because if you're going to purchase from a vendor off BuyBoard and it's not up to your standard, then that comes back on us and it comes back on me. So we want to make sure that things are good. So we go through that process as well. All right, this is just a snapshot of a few of the products. So you're legally able to procure products and services. We have a ton of stuff. I learn every day something new that we have. Here's just a sampling of the thousands. What you cannot purchase through BuyBoard are professional, engineering, or financial services. Those type of things are precluded by state law, allowing you guys to purchase. But any commodity or product or service other than that, your staff and you guys can pretty much find. For sure, we have everything to outfit a police department, fire departments, and we have street services, sewage. We can go on for days. It's a lot. But we'll share that information with your staff. Okay, we'll share all the contracts. We'll share all the vendors and all the products. So these guys will be equipped and ready to utilize it as they need to, and as you guys approve. All right. So here's just a snapshot of our contract list, and it's just one page, but it kind of shows you a sample of a contract. And most of the contracts last 3 years, and so vendors have to reapply every 3 years to put in a bid, because we evaluate them, and then it goes on from there. Yep. All right, so the last one, just kind of some big hitters to remember, that your staff, they can log into our website, so we'll work with them on getting them access to the website. We'll make sure they have all the vendors, contracts, everything in place. So when you guys are looking down the road at projects and things to do, you can inquire, you can go to them. Certainly, I'm at your access as well, but I work with staff mostly, but certainly we're here to help you. They can still negotiate a lower price, so you might see a price that's in the BuyBoard contract, but they still can negotiate that. They can go to different vendors and say, hey, give me your best offer. They can bid that out through our website multiple ways as well. So we encourage that too. So there might be some vendors and products and services you guys have been using but are not with a purchasing cooperative or BuyBoard, and we encourage the staff to look at that and maybe move those to both get you in compliance, save money, and then also get a little bit of that rebate money back too. So yeah, and then there's a lot of technicalities with the process, but it's not complicated. I understand it, so believe me, it can happen, you know? I'm not a real technical guy, but it's a simple process. We have a great staff that'll offer customer service. I'm your guys' consultant, so anytime they can call, text, phone, or you guys as well, and I'll give you my contact information, and we'll be glad to help Romero and any of his staff, or any other staff rather, and anybody else. So, all right, that's a lot of words. I talk too much. Now, any questions from you guys? I wanna hear anything.
How do we get a list of vendors that are already qualified in there?
Yes, sir.
How do we get that?
Yes, sir. I'll send that to, I have Romero's contact, I just met. I'll email that to him, and he can have the complete list to share with you guys.
Okay.
Okay?
And if some of our local vendors wanted to be a part of that, and I think you mentioned that in your last statement, they were able to get qualified there,
It's a
right?
great question. So what I'll do again is I'll send Romero an email, and I'll state on how they can do that. So we're always looking for vendors, especially local vendors that want to be on there that you guys want to use. They have to go through the bid process. So when there is a contract that is to be awarded, then they'll register with us and get a notification, and they'll submit their bid, and then if they're awarded, they're on the BuyBoard. And sometimes it takes a little while, because contracts, have different expiration dates. It depends on when that contract ends, so you have to have a little patience, but nonetheless, we really want to do that. We'll help you. And those particular vendors can reach out to me as well, and I'll help them. I'll help them get registered. I'll make sure they have all the information. So that's what I'm here for.
But some of your vendors, where they located? Are they state of Texas, all over the country? I mean,
Well,
are they-
that's a very good question. Very good question. So we have vendors all across the country. We're also, BuyBoard is located in 12 other states as well. But each entity, like each city or each school, has their regional vendors. So some vendors, they don't service all the states. So take a HVAC company up in Lubbock, Texas. They might not serve your region, but you'll have plenty of other vendors that will serve this region. So with other products and services, you can understand that. There are many statewide companies that offer services, but there's some that are more regional, and you can understand that. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
That's all I have. Yeah. Oh, great information. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
so much.
I
And I think we
appreciate
do
your
have a
time.
contract with you all right now, I think, for sure. We have a contract with BuyBoard right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, good question. We
Okay.
have an interlocal, so we'll work with that.
I think it's like a couple of, maybe about 5 or 10 years old, the contract. Yeah, it's an old one, so, yeah,
You were on council?
yeah,
and-
so
okay.
I know that we have one, yeah.
Yeah, you still have one, so you guys are good to go. Definitely can, so.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Here, sir.
Okay. We have another presentation. Walter County Tax Assessor Collector, Carolyn Medke. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me this evening. I believe all of you have been given the contract, a copy of the contract that we've drawn up. If y'all would choose to have us collect your taxes for the 2025 tax year. We will collect your current taxes as well as your delinquent collection in accordance to the tax code and what it allows me to do. After you have adopted your budget and you calculate your rates and you publicly put your publications out, however you choose to do that, and you adopt your tax rate, then you would send the information to me by September the 1st, and that way we will prepare the tax bills to go out in October. If it's done that way, there is no extra charge. If there is some delay on your side, it will be an extra charge as it states in the contract. I will be mailing out your statements, collecting the funds. Once a month, I will distribute your funds that have been collected for you and a monthly report. We do have a Brookshire office right down the road from here. It has a drive-through. I have staff there that are very friendly and happy to serve the public. I'm also willing to do workshops for your community. We want to make sure that people understand whenever they pay their taxes, where does the money go? I just know I pay you, but how's the money used? I'm willing to share that with the people. And also, I want to make sure that no one is paying more than what they are absolutely obligated to pay. Believe that there are some people out in our community that have not taken advantage of their homestead. There are over 65 exemptions, other exemptions that are due on their properties. And we want to make sure that if they're not able to pay their taxes at one time, we let them know that there are payment plans. There's options out there that I'm more than willing to work with them on within the guidelines of the law. So if y'all read over your contracts, just get it back to me if y'all decide to go that route, and I'm happy to help y'all. Do you have any questions for me this evening?
So, Ms. Carolyn, you stated earlier that you would be willing to come out and do a workshop.
I am.
So, also, the Water District will be entertaining a contract with you as well. And so we wanted to know if we could do a citywide workshop where you would bring your forms and information to sit down with the senior citizens and assist them and help them get allocated with the information that they need to make sure that moving forward, like you said, they're not paying more than they should be paying, and that they're not afraid when they fall behind that they're going to lose their property, that you can make sure some type of arrangements are made. So we wanted to just talk about maybe doing a citywide.
I would be more than happy
And
to do
combine
that.
it.
Absolutely. And if you want to do one during the day, because some senior citizens don't like to drive in the evening. I'd be more than to do that during the day and do another one in the evening. However y'all want to set it up, just let me know. I'm there for you.
And so the different locations that they would be able to pay their taxes, one you stated up the street on 90, which has a
Yes.
drive-through,
Yes.
that they can do that. They can mail in.
They can
and-
mail in. We also have online payments. We have our office, our main office is in Hempstead. So all of those options are there.
And for the council's knowledge, how much would you be charging for each parcel?
We will be charging you $1 for a parcel that's on your tax rolls. And that count is done at the end of the year, the end of December. And the way that we're going to disperse the money is your January payment is your largest ones. That's when the most of your money is collected. So the amount that is due to pay that bill will be deducted out of your January collections. And it'll all be shown on your report of how it's done.
Sounds good.
Thank y'all very much.
All right.
Thank you.
It's good news. Okay. All right, another presentation. I think that's me. I know I was going to operate the computer. So this particular presentation concerns drainage and mitigation. Of course, we know drainage and roads are very important. Right now, this particular one is about drainage. Okay, here we are. So flooding is often a major concern for the city, for the Brookshire community. You can't control Mother Nature, so what we can do to minimize flood risk, don't wait until it's too late. Be proactive and implement an emergency flood management plan. The 4 phases of an emergency flood management plan are mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. Mitigation activities are intended to significantly reduce or even eliminate the risk of flooding before it occurs. Projects that focus on improving stormwater management or reducing flood risk from a major river can be effective ways to mitigate flooding. These projects include traditional and innovative practices and consist of levees, flood walls, impoundments, improved conveyances, wetland restorations, acquisition of flood-prone properties, and even stormwater harvest and reuse. Water resources engineering can combine their experience with new data and tools to identify the best flood mitigation practices for every community. We're currently a part of the Waller County Hazardous Mitigation Plan Action Plan by H2O. And I'm going to go into some details on this plan with this book that I have here. Preparedness, develop a plan. Emergency preparedness plans should be tailored to address the specific needs of the community. Practice makes perfect. Conduct an emergency exercise to identify deficiencies in your plan and update it accordingly, like the planning process. Engage neighboring communities who can provide mutual benefits by sharing and or swapping critical resources. Response. The response phase of emergency flood management involves providing immediate assistance such as emergency relief, search and rescue. The specific activities of this phase depend on the community's characteristics, but the primary goal is to meet people's basic needs until recovery begins. Recovery. Typically, recovery actions bridge the gap between emergency and normalcy. These actions can include providing temporary housing, reconstruction, event counseling, and education. The following two activities are often forgotten during recovery, but can be greatly beneficial to the communities. Apply for grants, document the flood. The need of a single grant administrator. Securing and managing grants is a complex process. It involves researching and identifying funding opportunities, preparing detailed application, managing award funds, and ensuring compliance with regulations. In essence, a grant administrator can be a valuable investment that helps your organization increase the success rate of grant applications, boost confidence in grant success, reassures efficient grant performance and accountability, enhance public image and reputation, save time and resources. These are pictures from the morning right after the storm passed in Brookshire. And you can see how all of the, near Lowenbar Park, the entire area is flooded. Near First Street, the entire area is flooded. Near 3rd Street, the entire area is flooded. Near the hangar, flooded. 529 Village Way Apartments, flooded. Citywide flooding all over. Time to move forward. We've laid the groundwork, assessed the opportunities, and aligned on the visions. Now it's time to take actions to bring the plan to be life. So, that's it, right? So basically, Waller County has done a great job in developing a grant mitigation action plan. And this plan is available on the Waller County website. It's about close to 500 plus pages, right? And in this plan, there's several communities that were part of this plan. Some of them were Prairie View, Pine Island, the city of Brookshire, Sealy. This plan was put together to allow opportunities for grant funding. The problem is we need a grant administrator to work the plan. I can let you know, you all know, some of the things that were a part of this plan. When it was first put together, there were administrative staff from the city of Brookshire that was on the planning committee to identify the needs of the community for this plan. Some of the previous actions on this plan included, and I'll make this quick, it's just an example. Proposed action. The county's partnering with jurisdiction will begin a voluntary buyout program for insured repetitive lost properties that are in the floodplain. There was $3 million in this plan, okay? That funds that could have went out for grant funding that was already allocated in the plan. There was a decision made, delete action. The city no longer deems this a priority, okay? That was one of the actions. That money could have been used to buy out some of the houses in Brookshire Garden that's in the flood plan. But the decision was made, the city no longer deems this action a priority. And so that funding opportunity was lost. There's also $250,000 in the plan, conduct flood mitigation outreach for rivers and stream flood study for property owners and local governments. That has been updated in the new plan. There's also $2.5 million, previous actions. Project with clear obstacles, widen and reshape ditches, upgrade culverts to restore adequate drainage to mitigate flooding in all participating jurisdictions. $2.5 million in this plan. This was part of the 1.3 mitigate mid-mod. Originally 2.5. We were working with 1.3. Right here, deferred to plan update in progress. Funding was recently approved. Okay. Also, $7,000 for advertisement, outreach, and education was in the plan. $500,000. Purchase and install generators for critical facilities, elevate the generators in order to prevent malfunction during flooding. The generator that we received here at City Hall was awarded through this plan. Okay. Next one. The county and partnering cities will provide incentives and technical support for property owners to reduce underbrush throughout the county to properly cut back trees, upgrade fences, replace landscape material, non-flammable material. $50,000. Deleted action. The city no longer deems this action a priority. Deleted. Next one. All participating jurisdictions will retrofit city and county-owned structures with roofs, window panes that can withstand hail, high wind. $150,000. Deleted action. The city no longer deems this action a priority.
When was it deleted?
Deleted action in previous bill.
Oh, just deleted action. Oh.
Right.
The windows, everything could have been,
Right. There's your roof, Benny.
they said that's why the roof was paid with something else.
The next one. All participating jurisdictions will install signage and sensors to alert drivers during winter weather on major roadways, curved roads, and steep roads. That's your high water signs for the roads, icy bridge signs. $150,000. Delete to plan update. Defer to plan update in progress. The city is using Everbridge. And Everbridge is that warning system that we have to alert people. So basically, we didn't go after this money because we have that warning system that we purchased. $150,000. So those just examples. Here's another one for the last couple. Participating jurisdictions will bury power lines to prevent power outages for failing limbs during the winter storm. Bury power lines. $1.5 million. Deleted action. The city no longer deems this action a priority. Okay? So, but there's good news. The new plan has some of this allocation in it. There's no longer a $3 million buyout program. We need to try to update the plan to get that back in there. Because if we have a Harvey or a storm event and it take out some houses, we have no plan in place. This plan gives us points if when and if we decide to get a grant writer to go after grant funding that could go after this type of money through FEMA and other organizations to help people buy their properties out or whatever. So basically, in a long story short, in this mitigation plan, there, in the back of the book, there are sections that identify funding sources, many different funding sources. Texas, TDM, Texas Emergency Management, and several different funding sources to get funding. We need a grant administrator, I've been saying that for over a year, a person to come in, and as the presentation mentioned, is a difficult process to go get grant money and do the research. We need to contract someone or get someone full-time or contract someone to come in and help us work this process to get grant money brought into Brookshire. The other cities are ahead of us. Sealy, Katy, all of those cities already, Hempstead, they have grant writers, they have grant contracts, they are way ahead of Brookshire, and we need to get caught up. So I'm asking today if it pleases the council, to make a decision on hiring a grant contractor. And that is agenda item number 8. Agenda item, discuss and possible action to go out for RFQ for a grant administration company.
I make a motion that we approve to go out for RFQs for a grant administrator and company.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you. Okay, number 9, discussion and possible action to hire project manager. So this, I asked for this, but this also, this project manager will manage contracts, as we mentioned there, with BuyBoard, if we decide to go with BuyBoard, and also work with the EDC projects. We know the community is growing. A lot of growth coming to Brookshire and Waller County, Patterson area. This particular position will also work with public works projects, different projects like the Hovis Park Clubhouse project, the resheeting of the public works building, different projects like that. So that's what this position's for. It'll be a dual type position. The job description, I think, is in the packet.
It is.
Currently, we're paying a contractor $250 an hour to handle EDC projects. And so that would also help in this effort, this position. Yeah.
Ready for a motion, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we approve to hire a project manager.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, item 10, discussion and possible action regarding a residence to place a modular home located at 3207 Stella Road. Is that you, ma'am? Good evening.
Good evening. So my name is Tamika Brown. I'm granting permission to place a modular home on my property at 3207 Stella Road. It will be placed on a cement foundation. It cannot be moved. And it's built under the same state and local building codes as a site-built home. And I gave y'all all the information that explains it.
Do you have any discussion?
You said it was that last part. I didn't catch what you said.
I say that it's built under the same state and local building codes as a site-built home.
A site built. Okay.
And it'll be placed on a cement foundation that can't be moved like a manufactured home.
So it's not a manufactured home.
They term it as a modular home. It's different than a manufactured home.
Ms. Copion, we're in compliance with city ordinance, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Modular homes in compliance with city ordinance. We've already met with engineering and all that. Mr. Batista, engineering, everything's cleared, all of the rules and all that, so.
I would like to make a motion to approve resident placing container on the property located at 3126 First Street.
No, that's not where we're on.
That's
not wrong.
Next item.
I make a motion that
Stella
we
Road.
place a modular home located at 3207 Stella Road, meeting all requirements of the state and local codes.
Second.
Seconded.
Who's second? Okay. Most, all in favor? Motion passed. Thanks, Ms. Taylor, you got us all, you got me confused too. All right, item number 11, discussing possible action regarding the residents placing a container on the property located at 3126 First Street. And, oh, yes, I'm sorry. And I think this has been resolved. The residents and the engineering firm worked out the differences, and so we can move forward with this particular one. Yes. No action. No action. Okay, number 12, discussing possible action to approve hotel motel grant for Bless the Block and community event. We have discussion after y'all review it. See it? Back there.
Second to the last. Okay, gotcha.
I wanna ask a question. I thought we were going to form a committee before we started doing these. Because I know there's a long list of people who want to apply for these grants. And I do remember mentioning in a meeting that we should form a committee to oversee these grants and then present it to council.
Yeah. This Miss Dunn is not present, huh? Miss Dunn.
Oh.
So this is a 2-day
Good evening.
event.
You have an update on the hotel motel committee?
I do not. I am still waiting on a response from each council person to appoint someone.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, that's on us, because she did mention that she wanted to make sure that each council member appointed for each committee. And so that's gonna fall on us to make sure that we're responsible to have those people in place, and I will say for the next meeting.
For the next meeting?
For the next meeting.
Will you be able to get it done by the next meeting? If you get the,
They get it to me, yes.
okay. Okay, so What is your, thank you, Ms. Dunn.
I'll,
Want to move forward?
I have a few people who are interested, and I can have those names and Ms. Dunn. This
Okay, when is do we have a meeting before the 28th? Yeah, we should have. I think we have a meeting. Okay, so what do y'all want to do with this? Y'all want to wait till the committee table it until the committee?
yes,
Is that your motion,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Green?
yes, sir.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, item number 13. Discussion and possible action to amend 2024-2025 fiscal year budget to include city organized community events.
Okay, so, it's a lot of events that the city would like to put on, and for some reason, the hotel, motel, and everything got combined into general funds. And so we need to make sure that we're keeping those things particularly separated, and certain community events are taken out of those particular funds. As stated earlier, Miss Carolyn stated that she wanted to do a luncheon. Well, she didn't want to do a luncheon. I suggested a luncheon being done for the purpose of speaking with the seniors in the community. If we have the seniors here during the day for lunchtime, we should be able to feed them. But we need to make sure that it's funds available for that, and we're not pulling from general funds or from the citizens' actual tax dollars without them being notified that for those particular events like that, that we are inviting the community and making sure those funds come out of those particular things. It's happened for years and years. Standard office procedures we had where the seniors came once a month to City Hall, and we purchased their lunch and gave them, did little games and different things, information about what's going on in the community, such as right now, Ms. Dunn is involved in the community events and organizing a lot of community events. When I say community events, she's handling the emergency management, where she's contacting the senior citizens, making sure that they fill out the information in case of an emergency for welfare checks and stuff. So if we have something up here during the day when they're coming in and out, we should be able to, that she sits down with them and have these events, and we could possibly give them a sandwich or a drink or something, but those funds will be coming from that particular event.
I agree. I think it was a good program.
Yeah.
And that was done in Fundview? That, is that the way?
Merging of the thing,
the way
the
they-
merging of the funds,
Yes.
I'm not sure how they did it, what they did. I think it was the changing of the banks when they kind of merged some stuff.
Okay.
Any further discussion on that?
No, sir. I make a motion that we'll amend the 2024-2025 fiscal year budget to include city organized community events.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 14, discussion and possible action to schedule a quarterly meeting with the city of Brookshire, Brookshire Katy Drainage District, and Brookshire Water District. Mr. Stamps.
Mr. Mayor, I asked that this be placed on the agenda. I remember many years ago, we used to have meetings with all entities involved, and especially now, I feel like with all the growth and the neighborhoods that we have coming up within the community, it would be a great idea for all entities to be on the same page, you know, with the Water District or ourselves, and also with the Brookshire Katy Drainage District. So when people are working on permits for projects and such forth, you know, we know what's going on. Each entity know exactly what's going on, instead of, okay, well, they come to our meeting and then they have to go to the Water District meeting, then they have to go to our Brookshire Katy Drainage District meeting, and, you know, trying to get a yes for all these different projects. If everybody can be on the exact same page, it will help the processes of these projects move a lot faster and better.
And so that is something that we have recently started back up doing. That's one of the projects that we have been trying to get more organized, where all of the entities are meeting when particular people are building, construction, companies, stuff like that. So information is not misconstrued, because somewhere between driving from the Water District over here to the city, information sometimes get dropped off, added on, then by the time it gets to the the Brookshire Katy drainage, it's the same thing. Even though I know the Brookshire Water District is telling them by the book what the rate orders say, the city is abiding by what the permits and policies say, it's still some kind of confusion, but if everybody is in one room at one time, it won't postpone these projects over and over and over. The last time we did have one is when we did IDV. We had one with all the entities here and so forth, so that helped a lot to get those questions and answers.
And normally, Mayor, we would, in the past, we host the meetings in the convention center where there was more space for all the entities to sit around.
It's a good idea. And as Ms. Connor mentioned, we've probably was thinking the same thing because we've tested at least 3 companies with all of them in the same meeting together. Just recently, yes. It worked out great.
All right.
So this has already been put in place,
We
basically?
started it, yeah. We just need to get a calendar date, so we can start putting it on the calendar, seeing when someone's available from each
So
entity.
this will be a developers meeting.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
But also, if something changes at the Brookshire Water District or here with our policies, rules, rate orders, whatever, it'll be a time for everybody to make sure that they know that something changed different at those different entities. So that, no, that's not what they've been doing over there, so
Right.
we can make sure that everybody's just communicating and bridging the gap.
Okay.
All right.
Get action on this.
You fine with that, Mr. Stamps?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So this just discussion, no action.
Mm-hmm.
15, discussion and possible action to enter a contract with Tyler Technologies Encode. So, Ms. Notley, let me just first say that, the city of Brookshire previously had Encode as a financial system. Encode is currently has been used for many, many years as for financial systems for several different cities. Some of them are Richmond, Katy, Stafford, Mellow Place, Bel Air, Spring Valley Village, Waller, Belleville, Hempstead, Tomball, Montgomery, Deer Park, Seabrook, and Kemah. When the decision was made to go away from Encode, I think 2022, 23, it really put the city in a bad situation. It affected our audits. A lot of our historical data, financial data, was in Encode. From talking to the representatives at Encode, they upgraded the system to Encode 10. We're on 9. And I think it was going to take a year, maybe because of COVID or whatever, to get the city updated. So the decision was made to go to a different financial system, FundView, and Time Clock Plus, and Peacock, which did the banking reconciliation. So when we went away from Encode, we had to hire 3 different entities to do the task of one. And we lost all our historical data. Our license is expired. So now it has put a real burden on trying to get our auditing done. And so Ms. Notley is here to maybe repeat some of what I just said, but she's going to explain some of the difficulties in the process that she's doing right now.
Yeah, so one of the issues that I've been experiencing is definitely for payroll. So we have Time Clock Plus, which is our timekeeping module, and then it has to interface with FundView, and a lot of the coding is either just glitching, mismatch, and this is not like we didn't rework it, trying to get it fixed. It's just, it would be nice if there was a system in which it all already talked to each other, and Tyler Technology provides that piece. And so that could be an option for us to get rid of maybe Time Clock Plus and having everything in one. And they do have the app feature. They could possibly do like, a hard time clock so you can punch in, and geofencing. So they provide a lot of what Time Clock Plus does provide. Another piece of it is the accounts payable side. I don't know if you guys know this, but in FundView, we process the invoices and just the payment side in FundView. Then I have to log onto the bank and individually type in each routing number and each accounting number for each vendor that we pay monthly. And so that's a huge burden and a lot of room for error, right? Because it's just me and Miss Connor here. And with Tyler Technology, they're saying that they have an actual DD file, a bank file, that once you do load your invoices into the system, it'll send it to the bank. And then it's like a positive pay type situation where you're just kind of verifying and it can get approved within the system. And so for me, that was a huge plus because, I mean, we have millions of dollars here and my poor little shoulders, mistakes happen. And the way to eliminate that would be having that type of system and capability. And I did verify with FundView, they do not have that yet, they said. So,
So you have to manually plug in all those numbers to get the financial. And Peacock, you know, is very difficult dealing with them. And I think some of the issues that we haven't had a banking reconciliation from
since
them.
Mr. Chambers left, and so I'm having to go back. Mind you, FundView does offer a bank reconciliation module, so we're not actually doing this on Excel, thinking with our brains too much. It does like preload it for you, but it's just been hard to I have to investigate what needs to be debited and credit, where I was under the impression that the accounting firm would have the ability to investigate and see how these numbers should be treated.
But they don't.
They don't. And so they're asking me to investigate and tell them where it should be and work through it when I'm doing the same thing they have the access to, which is just looking at the past data, seeing what happened prior, because our last audit was 2021 and all that data is good in the system. We just have to investigate and see what happened with each year and each month. And so that's the issue.
Okay.
I was told that there were issues with training with FundView. There's a charge for each.
Yes.
Can
So
you explain that?
that's another thing. There's a charge per module, per person, like per employee. And so myself, I don't have access to all of the modules. I only have what's necessary because that's a financial burden. I'm not all the way in utilities or in purchasing orders, so I can't really see the full picture. Whereas Tyler Technology, they do all that up front, and as many times as you need it, they'll do a workshop. They'll talk you through it. And so that's been an issue with us as far as who can see what. For example, Ms. Quotations, she does the, special events invoices, and it'll be nice for her to just have a view only, just so she can see when it's paid, but I have to pay $500 for her to go through the full training, and that's not something we're sure we want to commit to at this time. So.
Okay.
So if this was to be approved, how long would it take for us to actually go into contract and switch over from?
So they're
FundView?
giving us a time frame, 6 to 9 months right now, because we were prior with them, so they do have some of our data. And mind you, the proposal is literally just a one-for-one swap, so the city doesn't miss anything. So they do have more things like asset management. We desperately need an asset management module that can track our appreciation, depreciation. Right now, we don't have that. And so they have a lot of things where we can just scan in our inventory and it's compatible with all the, isn't that? Yeah. And so instead of me trying to seek another third party to provide that for us, they have a lot of this stuff in there. And so, yeah.
That's good.
Inventory module,
Yep.
Yep.
It's really
maintenance module. So before you, there's a proposal here that there's one-time fees and then there's a annual fee, right?
Yes, sir.
So we have the one-time fee to set this whole system back in place is $85,902, and then the reoccurring fee is $40,166. Okay.
And
that
so
will-
to put that in perspective, with Time Clock Plus and FundView, we pay like around $38,000 a year for those two. And so this is literally giving us what we have. So
Right.
Is this going to be cloud-based or servers required?
it would be a server. I believe it's both, actually. Yeah, it's both.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we going to have to purchase a new server, or can we use the
I believe they'll be able to work with our server that we already have, but I'll clarify. Right now, this is just, proposal and as we get closer, but
As long as our server can hold all the data. You usually only have to change the server when it doesn't have enough space on it. So it should be fine. All those servers, they got enough.
Okay.
I think the water district's still on Encode too,
yes,
right?
they are.
On Encode
Most all of the
9,
municipalities are on Encode.
Yeah.
but they are going to Encode 10
Yeah.
eventually. soon.
Eventually. And so that's another thing with the trash going over to water. Us being able to see the data come in and be familiar, it like cuts down on, hours being wasted and stuff, so.
Okay.
That's all
Thank
I
you.
have. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion on that?
No, sir.
All right.
Sounds good.
Make a motion that we move to enter a contract with Tyler Technology.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. 16. We only have 4 more items before executive session. 16, discussion and possible action to purchase property or designate an area for a food truck park. Ms. McDade.
Well, this was my agenda item. Of course, I know food trucks are very popular right now, and our ordinance doesn't allow food trucks to actually, come and have just their own chosen spot. So my idea is to actually find some property and open a food truck park. So, everyone can actually be in one spot, have it really nice, tables out there. I don't know if, I'm pretty sure y'all have seen the one on Fry Road. They have several, and it's really nice. It's really nice, so.
Do you have any locations in mind?
Distance.
Not really.
Okay.
Yes, but no.
Yeah. Yes, but no. Yeah.
Now, do you have any information as far as do you have any past experience in walking the city through developing a food truck park?
Not food truck specifically, no.
Okay.
We have a few of our other clients that David could probably speak to you about, detail.
Okay. Can you get us that information on how they did that? All right. Thank you.
I think placing them in one location is probably best than having them all over the city.
Just in one location.
Yeah.
May have to have an ordinance drawn up.
So with no action, we're gonna,
Just
no action.
Recommendation for the attorneys to go ahead and move forward to look into it.
Okay. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. All right. 17, discussion possible action purchase a generator for the annex building office. Of course, the annex building across the street here, we're going to develop that into usable office space. And so I think we brought it to council in the last meeting for a approval for remodeling there. It would not be an extensive remodel. The flooring is good and all of that. So of course we'll need emergency generator here at this location as well. And so I do have a cost, preliminary cost for it, and I'll pass these out. I just got it late today, this document late today, and its cost is around, estimated cost is around $42,000, and that is turnkey, coming in, purchase generator, natural gas, pouring a slab to place the generator on, also replacing the outdated control panel, the breaker box that's in there, because it's very outdated, to a 200 amp box. Okay.
You say key pass as well?
Turnkey. Yeah. Complete job turnkey. And so that's what I have. This is just an estimate. Of course, we'll have to go out, for 3 quotes on this particular, on all of it, really. It's an industrial generator. Natural gas.
Question. Does Public Works have backup generation?
Public Works do not
What was the
have,
question?
Public Works do not
Does
have a
Public Works
backup.
have a
I
backup
don't think
generator?
so, no. They're gonna need one at some point, but no.
No, we've discussed that they have some old ones that they haven't been cranking them up and tending to them, I don't think. So I think that we might need to see if they even,
Yeah, they do not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not one at the building for if the weather goes, no.
Right.
They just have the little mobile ones.
Yeah.
Like,
And, with disasters and everything moving forward, we need to be prepared here. We need to be able to power all of our buildings,
Yes.
Yeah.
for city resources. Yeah.
Motion.
Yes.
I make a motion that we go out for quotes for a generator for the annex building.
but we already have the quotes, right?
Oh, we need 3. You said
Yeah,
3?
three. Yeah,
Ooh.
three.
We still need more.
Yeah, we need 2 more. Can I get a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Item 18, discussion of possible action to move July 3rd, 2025 regular city council meeting to July 1st, 2025.
Mr. Mayor, I was gonna also say, I know I mentioned July the 1st, but if we can move this meeting to July the 10th, 2025, which would be that Thursday, the following week Thursday.
Okay. July 10th.
July 10th.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right, that's your motion, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, can I get a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Last item, discussion possible action to purchase a 4-wheel mid-size utility tractor with boom mower. I added this item on. So, in lieu of purchasing a dump truck right now, as I ride around the town, I see there are a lot of ditches that have grass and debris and brush that's grown up that restricts water flow for drainage. So I think there's a greater need here to purchase a mower that will allow our Public Works Department to cut the ditches in town than a dump truck right now. And so I reached out to one particular company for a quote. This mower will actually have an 18-foot reach over into all the ditches that are here in Brookshire except one. And that one ditch that's too deep, BKDD are working with us to maintain that particular ditch. This will also beautify the city. The city used to have a tractor like this, and it broke beyond repair, and it was never repurchased. Most of the cities, even BKD, have 2 tractors like this. They maintain their ditches, and the other cities have tractors like this as well. So the price for it is here. We did talk about maybe retrofitting one of the existing tractors that we have, or reached out to some different companies about doing that. It will be pretty expensive to do so. There were some companies that did not want to do it, and they did not recommend that they were warranty, limited warranty on the repairs. So it would probably be better that we have a tractor that came already outfitted, new and outfitted, that's set up that could last us many years of service. So, and again, it will help the drainage. And there it is there. The price, the cost is $173,963.57. cost of the tractor, and more together.
And I agree, Mr. Mayor, that's definitely something that we need, but also I think that if council see fits and we're gonna go through the BuyBoard, I definitely believe that this could be a project that we can utilize through the BuyBoard program.
And actually, this particular vendor did mention that through that BuyBoard, this is with the BuyBoard $20,000 price cut. Yeah, right.
That's what the source well discount,
Hmm?
is that what that source well discount
Yeah.
is?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion on this particular item?
Now, I know it's needed.
It's needed.
I'm always riding around in the rain, watching the water, and I see the restriction. We lean heavily on the drainage district to cut our ditches, and they have to schedule it, so they have to maintain theirs first. So if we can get it, we can start maintaining our own ditches. When you mentioned retrofitting an existing tractor, if that broke, then we're down 2 pieces of equipment, and it would definitely put us in a bind. So I'm all for purchasing this right here, because I know it's fun. And we used to have them. They're very expensive though. Very expensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess we would need the approval of, once we approve to be a part of the BuyBoard first, correct? And then,
Well, we already
okay, so we're,
BuyBoard.
okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Yes.
All right, well, I make a motion that we purchase the 4 WD mid-sized utility tractor with the boom mower.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passed. All right. Executive session. The city council will meet in closed session pursuant to Title V, Chapter 551 of Texas Government Code for the purpose of consultation with legal counsel, Section 551071. The council will convene an executive session pursuant to Section 551074 of the Texas Government Code to consider personal issues, to deliberate the employment, evaluation, reassignment, and duties of public officers and employees, city secretary, police chief, public works director, municipal courts clerk. And the time is 8:13. Okay, welcome back. The time is 9:33. Results from executive session, no action. Future agenda items. Mr. Green.
The contract for Waller County to start collecting taxes.
That is, sir.
And discussion putting a backup generator at Public Works.
That it?
That's it.
Ms. Taylor.
None at this time, sir.
Mr. Stamps.
Might not have the correct verbiage, but I know we kind of briefly discussed the ordinance for the dog rescue or something to kind of resemble as far as like the incident with the dogs. I know we talked about, we want to make sure it's something in remembrance, ordinance in remembrance of with the dogs to make sure.
Mm.
Resolution, okay. I know it was a quick topic, so I can't remember.
Is that it, sir?
Yes, sir, that's it for me.
Ms. McDade?
I don't have anything right now.
Okay. Community announcements?
Juneteenth Festival this weekend. I know Friday night we'll be kicking off here in downtown Brookshire from 6 to 10. On Saturday, well, the parade will start at 10 p.m., leaving from 10 a.m., sorry. I'm tired. 10 a.m., leaving from the Brookshire Police Department, and then also with the festivities at Hovis Park will kick off at 12, from 12 p. to 8 p.m.
And Sunday?
And on Sunday, we'll have our Gospel Fest here at the Convention Center from 5 to 9 p.m., or until.
All right. Adjournment.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?